Hi everyone, I'm hoping that this video is going to be coming out the right way. I've changed some settings, clicked on things that I probably should have clicked on yesterday, but here's hoping. Anyway, I'm Kim Heath and you're here today with me in my craft room, following on from the live that I did yesterday. I was very nervous yesterday. You probably picked up on that, and that's okay because nerves keep you real, I think. But yesterday a couple of people private messaged me and they said, "Hey, who's Penny?" And I'm like, oh, I didn't even show her. How did I not do that? So today I thought I'll get Penny and introduce you to Penny, because she's quite a big part of my life. I first met Penny when she was 6 weeks old, actually probably 5 weeks old, and she was at Hatton Vale, and I was teaching at Hatton Vale, and some of my year 2 kids came up to me and they said, "Oh, there's puppies, Mrs. Heath," and I said, "I don't want to see them, I don't want a puppy," because I knew what I'm like, you know. I know that I love puppies, and I already had a little chihuahua called Gypsy, and working full time I thought, silly getting a puppy. Well, wasn't I silly for thinking that? So I'll bring Penny in. She's here in my lap, laying down. Here she comes. Then you got to be a good girl and put your head up. There she is. Okay. So Penny's 12. There she is. She's looking a bit doughy there. Come on, Penny. Liven up. If I brought her ball in, where's your ball? Oh yeah, that got it. There we go. And what about chicken? Do you like chicken? Do you like walks? Walks? Yeah, you like walks. Anyway, this is Penny. And Penny was born at Hatton Vale, and her mum, her human mum, well, they had 6 puppies. Her dog mum had 6 puppies, and she was the only female, and she was the runt of the litter. So all her brothers were about 4 times the size of her, and she was this tiny, like she was tiny. She would fit in Brad's hand, laying in it. So she was 5 weeks old when I first met her, and I said to the lady, "I want her. How much is she?" And she said, $200. I'm like, sold. Don't sell her to anyone else. So she didn't, and I ended up with her. And on the 6th week, so the following week, she said, "Oh, I'm going to be giving them bolognese tonight for dinner." And I went, "Can I take her home?" And she, "Yeah, you can take her home." I'm like, okay. So we went to went and found a little box for her to sleep in on the way home, because at the time I was living at Mount Gravatt, and that was up at Hatton Vale, and that was like an hour away. So I would drive up there and drive home every day. And it was a good run. I really enjoyed the driving, but she had to be in a box the whole way, and she cried the whole way home because she just wanted to be with her human, her new human. But she was very dark at the time, like she's so light now. She was, her mum was jet black, and her dad was purebred Shih Tzu. The mum was Foxy Chihuahua, and the dad was purebred Shih Tzu. This colour Shih Tzu apparently. But when I got her, her face was very dark, and she had lots of dark flecks through her. But that has all gone. Yeah, so sorry. She is the light of my life. I love her to bits, and she just loves being in your arms, don't you? She's a little sweetheart. But don't get her around other dogs, let me tell you. She absolutely hates other dogs coming around me. We take her to the spit down at Surfers Paradise, or any beach really, and she shoos all the dogs away, chases them away, barking at them like a banshee. But it was funny, a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago, time flies, we were walking her and Brad had her lead, and I was talking to a guy from the complex here, and she didn't even bark at his dog. And I think that was because Brad had her and I was standing away from her, and she just ignored his little dog. And it was his dog that was going off and not Penny, which is so funny because she's usually the banshee. I call her a banshee. And possums, she hates possums being on the fence, or cats. Yeah, her fence, her rules. Yeah, so Penny has been more and more a support dog for me since the trauma happened when my son beat me in March. And I was going to talk about it more yesterday, but I just felt like it wasn't the right time to talk about it. So I may possibly talk about it in the future, off and on, little snippets, but I don't want it to be who I am. I don't want the trauma to be, oh, Kim who has trauma. I want it to be Kim who is positive and fun, loves life, loves to craft, and loves Penny and Brad. Brad's my husband. So that's who I want to be. I don't want to be defined by trauma. But yeah, it happened in March, and it happened in the morning, and it was just, I couldn't believe that it actually happened. I couldn't believe that it was my son that was doing it. Even until the second that he connected with me with his fists, I didn't think it would happen. So I just still can't believe it happened. I look at the scar, probably can't see it too much, or maybe you can. I look at the scar in the mirror and I think, how did he do that? I don't know. So yeah, it's all perplexing to me, and I forgive him, but I will never be in the same room as him again on my own or with anyone else. Maybe one day we can sit together and, on a video chat, but that is a long, long way away. I've got a 5-year protection order against him, and he should be going to court in November, but who knows, it could be another 12 months after that. So I don't know. All I can do is try and live each day, and I know in my heart that I love him, and I'll be here as much as I possibly can for him. It might not be in a physical way. I don't know what the future's going to hold for him. It breaks my heart that I'm now not part of his life, but that's his choice. He made it that morning. I actually had to go to hospital because it was that bad. I had a flap of skin that went around there. It was 36 stitches, and it was just flap, so they could pull it off and see the skull underneath. So it was pretty traumatic, and he didn't stop. I thought he was going to kill me that day. I thought I was dying that day, and it's hard to talk about sometimes. If it wasn't for my neighbour next door hearing me scream, I think he would have killed me. She came and knocked on the door, and it snapped him out of it, just like that, snapped him out of it. And he went to the door and she said, open the door. So he did. And then she told him to go upstairs, and he did. And apparently then he rang the police and told them that he had attacked me. So the police came within minutes, and neighbour from the back of me, she raced around. I still don't know her name, but apparently no one else was here in the complex around me. I've got units all around me, and there was no one home except for my neighbour, and she'd only just come back. So I was very lucky that day that she had actually come back from shopping, and before that she'd been in Gympie, so or Maryborough or somewhere like that. So yeah, she came and got me out of the unit, and we went into her unit, and the police and the ambulance came. And because I've got other health issues like heart failure, I've got Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder. I wasn't sure what was going to happen because I've got a brain aneurysm. I wasn't sure if that was going to be affected by it at all. I wasn't sure if I'd suffered any internal bleeding somewhere or what was going to happen. So that was what I was worried about. And at the time, I thought that I just had broken my nose. I thought that the blood that was coming down my face was from my nose, and it wasn't. It was coming from here, pouring down. So it was a very traumatic experience, and I wouldn't like anyone to have to go through that. So I guess what I want to say is that if you know of someone that's been through a traumatic experience, be gentle with them, be there for them, even if it's just to have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, to not even talk about the traumatic experience, just to be there as a friend for them. And hi, I can't see who has just popped on. I can see that there's someone watching. Hi, thanks for joining. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about Penny. Here's my Penny. She always brightens my day up. And like I was saying earlier, since the trauma has happened, I find I'm leaning on her a lot more. But yeah, if you've got a friend that's been through something traumatic of any kind, not just violence, but any kind of trauma, try and be there for them and be patient with them, and just love them as the best you can, because that's all people want. Is just that's what I'm really wanting the most these days, is just connection. And I figure, well, if I want connection, that's what I need. Other people will be wanting it too. So I guess that's going to be one of my big goals coming next year, this year and next year, is to connect with more people and use my business to help people get through things. Not my business, but the craft. Be able to use craft to get through things and help people to focus on craft and not the trauma, and help them to see that there is life after trauma, life after life-changing trauma. Because there's trauma, and yeah, we can get through trauma, but life-changing trauma, for example, your son is no longer your son because he has hurt you badly, and yeah, so that's pretty life-changing. And anyway, I don't want to go on and on and on about trauma, but it's a significant thing that stays with you for a long time. And sometimes we need little puppies, and sometimes we need craft, sometimes we need a cup of tea with a friend, and sometimes we need all of those things and more. So I hope you've enjoyed meeting Penny. And oh yeah, I don't know if you read one of my posts lately, but I did share with you that I own 2 children's pythons. What? Did you say pythons, Kim? Yeah, I've got 2 children's pythons, Zeus and Xena, and I just absolutely love them. But that will be for another conversation, and I might even get one out and bring it on the video just so you can see it quickly. Not for long, because I know some people just can't stand snakes, and that's okay. But I absolutely love them, and I will share with you soon about why I love them and how it all came to be, because it's not a normal pet, I understand that, but they're just such an amazing creature, and I never thought I would ever say those 2 things, that a snake is amazing and that I love a snake. I love 2 snakes. So anyway, just before I go, I just wanted to share that today I went and did a little make and take with some ladies at the local scrapbook shop at Shelley's Land, and that was fabulous. We made some beautiful cards, and I might even share them next time I jump on. I was going to do unboxing this afternoon, but I'm getting a bit tired, so I didn't want to muck it up with not remembering words. That kind of happens in the afternoons to me these days. I don't know if it's just old age, medication, lack of estrogen, I don't know. It just happens. Like today at the scrapbook shop, I got the measurements wrong, but that's okay, because the ladies were really good. They were like, that's okay, Kim, we understand. So we only had to take a inch off one of the cards long way, so it was fine, and everything worked out okay. And I guess that's life, isn't it? Sometimes things are measured wrong and you have to make changes, and it's like your life, you have to make change things to suit what's happening in your life right now, and just get on with it, one day at a time, 1 foot at a time, 1 foot in front of the other. Yeah. So thank you for joining me today. I'm trying not to say very much, but I probably am. You can remind me not to say it if you like in the future. Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye. Goodbye from Penny. Goodbye from Kim. Have a lovely afternoon, and I shall talk to you very soon. I'm going to be doing more lives now that I've started. Okay, have a good afternoon, have a good night, and I don't know if Broncos are playing this weekend in the football, but go Broncos whenever you're playing. Okay, have a good night, and ciao.